In this video, we're going to review the travel guide and the requirements for the food and hotel sections. So your job for the food and hotel sections is to demonstrate some different types of skills in InDesign. For the food section, you're going to be creating some individual icons that need to be repeated. So things like maybe they've got gluten-free, maybe they have a special wine bar, maybe they have outdoor seating, maybe they have carryout available, whatever your five icons are going to be, so you can tell patrons what is available at those different restaurants. And for the hotel section, you're going to go ahead and use your skills with an InDesign table to go ahead and let people see at a glance what type of accommodations they might want to book for their stay. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the hotel section. So for the hotel section, what are the requirements? Your requirements are it has to have head and subheads. I'm looking for at least 5 hotels. With that, I need the name of the hotel, an address. I don't need a zip code, and some type of website. So if you're doing some type of fake area, you can make up pretend addresses and websites, otherwise use the real ones. I need at least 5 features in that hotel. So maybe do they have parking? Do they have Wi-Fi? Do they allow pets? Do they have breakfast? Maybe they have some type of pool or room service. Maybe they have laundry or spa. There's a lot of different things you can compare. You have to use an InDesign table to create that grid. If you're going to put pictures into that grid, you have to use them in the table itself. Do not put them on top. I'm looking for an additional 2 graphic elements per page in addition to the table itself. Always looking for those photo and image credits, and most of this other stuff is pretty standard. So let's take a peek at the hotel page. So for some people, they like the hotel page to basically take up the entire page to fill up that table. It's totally up to you as to how you're going to lay that out. So remember, go back to those classroom in a book if you can't remember how to do tables. If you think about the table, it's got some subheads. So you know you need 5 rows across and 5 columns just for the information, but you also need some information for some other things as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do my table. Let's do create a table, and you can make yours any size. I'm going to go ahead and make mine, let's see, let's do a subhead for each one. So maybe I want to do let's do 12 by 12. No, I want 12 rows and 6 columns. Let's do that. All right, so it's going to go ahead and create my table. So you're going to say, why do you have so much information? So I know that when I'm working on my table, looks way little. It is because it's the body text. So let's go ahead and switch. Let's undo. And let's switch our text to our body so that when we put that table in, we don't have that same problem. So table, create table. Okay. And go ahead and draw that table in. And it's still doing the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and do a table, select all. And those table options. Let's see. Select table. There we go. Let's go ahead and change that to body. And that, there we go. Now it's much smaller. So maybe I know I'm going to put my different types of things in here. So Wi-Fi. Please do these your own. Don't copy mine. Now I know I want them to be centered in those cells. So I don't like the way they are right now. So I'm going to go to my paragraph. It's going to align that center. I'm going to come here to my window, come down here to type in tables and grab my one for table. And you can see that you've got some different options here. And I want to go ahead and align that center. So it's going to go ahead and make that centered as well. So I'm going to go ahead and make this maybe my hotel name. And this is going to be my hotel, this is going to be my address and website. And I'm going to do that 5 times. So that way I can kind of create kind of a different look and feel. Maybe I want to play with, so I copy and paste that down. The trick with tables is to make sure, oh, undo, you are working with the text tool instead of the, so I know this is going to be hotel name, so I can go ahead and play with this. So maybe I want to make, you don't have to do that. So now I know that I want to merge these cells because I want them to be one thing. So I'm going to do my merge cells. Let's go ahead to my center, my paragraph, and center there. And maybe I want to insert to tell them that, yes, this is something I have here. I want to insert maybe a certain kind of character. So I'm going to go to my table, or my window, come down here to type in tables, and I want to grab the one called glyphs. And with my glyphs, depending on which font I have, I can see that there are additional elements. If you go back to the one, Classroom in a Book, we did play quite a bit with these different types of elements. So I don't love any of the ones in there. So let's try a different font. Maybe I want to try, let's try a different font. Here is fonts are down here. So I'm going to try a different font, and I'm going to go ahead and try just Minion Pro. So if I look at my Minion Pro, you obviously want to make these match whatever is going on with your publication. This is just a dummy for me, so I'm not really paying attention too much. So this one's got a whole bunch of different symbols and stuff in it. So maybe I'm doing a winter one. I really like this ornament. I'm going to go ahead and double click and put that ornament in. So it's also, you'll see it's turning bright blue because I did have an issue where I have overridden my style. So I definitely would want to create a new style for that ornament. So there's a lot of easy ways for you to make this your own, to make this something that you like. Play with things like go to the table styles, and go to table options in that table setup. Maybe you want to go ahead and make it so you have alternating colors and rows. Maybe you want to turn some of those strokes on and off. It's totally up to you as to how you're going to make that work for your publication. Let's go ahead, every second row. Oh, that's strokes. I want fills. All right, so fills, I want every second or third row. Okay, so that's not too bad, but maybe I want to make it every third row instead. Or, because I want to get just the hotel names. So let's try every other row. Yeah, that would work. So then my addresses and stuff would be a different one. It's totally up to you as to how you're going to play with those. Remember, you can always go back out and look at your preview mode to kind of see what's showing and what's not showing. You can turn those strokes on and off. So if you go into the workspace, the Essentials Classic, when you're in that table, it's a little bit easier to work with those strokes, I think. So I'm in this table. I'm going to go ahead and double click in here, and I should get, all right, maybe it's the selection. Where have they moved it to? All right, so here I don't have my table part showing. I want to go ahead and do let's go in here and table, select cell. And I should, here we go. So here you get that information on how to turn some of that stroke on and off. So you can kind of go in and play and turn on and off the different types of strokes depending on how you want that table to look. Sometimes it's much easier to draw this out first and then kind of go back and decide how you're going to put that information together. So if I look at my sample, let's go back out to my preview, my normal mode. I really liked maybe how they've got these different types of photos on here. So maybe I'm going to go ahead and fix this so that, you know, I've got my headline. Maybe I'm put my headline up here, move my whole table. And maybe I want to do a couple of squares and a couple of circles. Oh, clearly I've got a little bit of overset text because that one's still on body text. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of circles. And if I do Alt-Shift from the middle out, and maybe I'm going to do another circle image. So it's up to you. Do not forget to put in those photo credits. So I will go back up here to my entertainment. Let's go ahead and copy, come down here to my, and maybe I can, if I wanted to, I could paste those credits around the circles, depending on what makes sense. Maybe I want to add a little bit of a text box here saying something about the amazing places we have to stay or something along those lines. So pay attention to, you know, those inspiration pieces. What makes sense for what you're trying to say with your publication? So that's, basically playing with tables is your main goal for the hotel page. Now for food is a little bit different. Food, you've got 5 different things you want to focus on. So I really, maybe I really like this sample. So maybe I'm gonna put my indulge in the delicious journey. Maybe I'm gonna put that here. And I know I want to have some type of, maybe I want to continue with my circles. So I'm going to put my circle of my image here. And I'm going to put my text right next to it, something about the restaurant itself. Think about what the visitor needs to know. They might need to know hours. They might need to know how much things cost. Maybe they want to know other stuff like that. Now I know I need those 5 icons. So the easiest way for me to do those 5 icons is to go ahead and create that rectangle frame, whatever size I want it to be. So mine's 6 by 6. Maybe I want to make 0.5 by 0.5. And then I'm going to go ahead and take and Alt and copy that over. So depending on how many icons fit with my with that item, maybe they don't have all 5, but you need to have at least 5 different types of icons available. Then I would take and copy this, and I would definitely create some type of key down below. So kind of maybe move this around and make your key. So don't do it that way. Let's do a, forget, you can play with your align options. You can play with your distribute. So now I've got that little bit there. I can add, this is gluten-free, this is dairy, this is whatever it is. So I've got my key, and I need to work my 5 restaurants in. So it might be easier to group these and repeat them. Maybe you want to stack them over on the side. It's totally up to you as to how you're going to go ahead and tell this food story. So let's take a peek at the requirements for food. For food, I'm looking for that head and subhead. I'm looking for at least 5 different restaurants with 5 different options with that rating system. So when you did custom shapes, you probably made some different icons that can be used for those custom shapes. One of the tricks with the putting those icons in, because you're using them so small, you might have designed them really big. So when we go ahead and look at those panel option information, it might be really, really big. So you might want to go ahead and resize those icons, make them smaller. What else? We need to make sure we're using those paragraph and character styles, that we're not having any of that bright blue happen. At least 2 graphic elements, always looking for those photo credits, and good resolution in that inspiration sheet. So you can have a lot of fun. This doesn't have to be 1 page. It could be 2 pages. It's up to you as to how you're going to lay that out. So maybe you really like how they have, have the isolated images. You could really easily add, your 5 icons in here. Or maybe you want to put them down below. What makes sense for your publication? So that is what you're looking for when it comes to food and hotel. Make sure you're using the table for the hotel. Make sure you're including that hotel name, the address, the web, that you're using the formatting correctly, that you're not trying to paste images on top. If you do have questions, go back to that chapter in a book where we did the community college one, where we did the styles for the, I can't remember what we did, but we styled some tables throughout. So pay attention, and if you don't remember how to do it, go back and look, or go back and ask. Sketch it out first. It'll make your life a lot easier. And I'm looking forward to seeing the amazing places to sleep and eat.